Your diet is making you depressed and you don't even realize it. If you're depressed or you have poor mental health, this might actually be a big reason as to why that is. It's something we often overlook, it's something we don't think about, but it is definitely has a big effect, not just on our physical health like people think, but also on our mental health. And so before we get into this topic, if you're depressed, definitely consider watching this video. Don't click off. This is very important. If this video helps you, then please consider watching some of my other videos because I believe if this one helps you, then those ones will help you as well. Seed oils and sugar. Those two things are the enemy to our mental health, and we often think there's only repercussions to our physical health when we eat that kind of stuff, when we eat sugar and fast food, which always has seed oils. Everywhere you go has seed oils. These two things, and then chemicals as well. There's always chemicals in food and stuff like that. So if M&Ms don't have seed oils, which I'm sure they probably do, if M&Ms don't have seed oils, they probably have chemicals and red 40s and carcinogens and all that stuff. Those big names that you can't pronounce. I get it if this message is like kind of funny to hear, but it is very much true. You can tell yourself, "Oh, I just want to enjoy my life. I just want to enjoy food." You can tell yourself that all you want, but are you really enjoying it if it's affecting your entire life? If it's making your mental health like linearly go down every single time you eat it? If it's making you feel more self-conscious about your body and your mind and who you are, and if it's affecting your mind to where you can't even think properly and you can't even like hold conversations because your mind is like in ADHD mode and you're just like a subpar human when you eat junk food. And I don't mean that in a red pill condescending way, but it's just true. It's just the facts. And so you need to avoid seed oils and sugar, and the best way to go about this in terms of diet is to literally just eat whole foods. And so I go by the one ingredient rule. And so if something has one ingredient, like eggs are one ingredient, broccoli is one ingredient, rice is one ingredient. If it has one ingredient, then it's probably going to be a whole food. It's probably going to be really good and nutritious for you. So my diet pretty much consists of that. And of course, I have cheat meals. I have junk food every now and then. And I like to go to coffee shops and I like to get sweet little coffees. And I like to spend time going on dates with my fiance and all that. So it's like I do still eat junk food, but I do notice a big difference when I consistently eat only whole foods. I'm talking only vegetables, only fruit, only meat, only eggs, very minimal dairy, very minimal other stuff. Avoiding any oils other than like olive oil or avocado oil. Mainly sticking to butter because that's the healthiest. And yeah, essentially avoiding those seed oils, those chemicals, those sugars, those fake foods. If you think about it, like think about M&Ms. There's no way that you look at an M&M and think critically and actually come up with the conclusion that this is something you should be putting in your body. I know we've all been normalized and like conditioned to like kind of accept this as food, but if you really think about it as like a normal human being, think about you're like a human from 500 years ago and you're looking at this M&M. You wouldn't put it in your mouth. You wouldn't eat it because it doesn't even look like food. It shouldn't be food. And the ingredients aren't even food. It's like the most disgusting, horrible ingredients. And yes, it tastes good. Of course it tastes good. They make it taste good on purpose. Of course they're not going to make it taste bad. So now that we know this is bad for us, the best way to overcome an eating disorder or a binge eating disorder or just an addiction to eating junk food is to get addicted to delayed gratification and get addicted to eating real whole foods. Now, eating junk food, the act of eating junk food actually mirrors something called instant gratification. Instant gratification is something that feels pleasurable in the moment and tastes good and feels good in the moment, but long term it affects you negatively and makes you feel worse physically, mentally, spiritually. And so eating junk food is instant gratification, and it mirrors the instant gratification. It feels good in the moment, it tastes good, but it always makes you feel a little bit worse later on, or much worse. Just like any bad habit works in that way. So like fapping, doom scrolling, watching porn, doing things that just aren't good, aren't of the natural order to life. Those things always feel good in the moment. Lying, listening to degenerate rap music, like these things feel good in the moment, but it doesn't help us mentally, physically, or spiritually. In fact, it makes it worse. Even if you don't believe in that, even if you don't believe that there's like a mental health negative effect with this kind of food directly, there's still the concept of how physical health impacts your mental health. And so if your physical health is being damaged, which we know it is because we all agree these are bad foods, nobody actually agrees that McDonald's is healthy or that ice cream is healthy or a candy bar or M&Ms are healthy. We all know it's not. We agree on that. And so if we know that, then we know that it's physically harming us. And if it's physically harming us, that means it's also mentally harming us because they're intertwined. Anything that affects you mentally is going to affect you physically, and then vice versa. And eating junk food is going to make you more self-conscious about your body. It's going to make you feel more bloated and like kind of just gross feeling afterwards, which makes you more self-conscious and like makes you less approachable and makes you less fun to be around and more just mental and like brain fog and all these bad things. So we know it has a mental effect on us. The thing is, if we eat healthy, real food, it doesn't always taste healthy, real food doesn't always taste good in the moment, but it makes you happier, it makes you healthier, it makes you mentally sharper and actually able to literally be smarter than most people at this time in history. It makes you feel better, which makes you feel more confident and approachable and likable, and that will get you more girls, that'll get you more friends, that'll make you feel more important because you have more people around you. You'll feel like you're more a part of like the world and less like isolated and alone. You'll feel better, so you get more good social interaction regularly. You feel better, so you approach that girl with confidence the next time you see her, the girl that you have been dreaming to go talk to and get with. You're going to have more confidence when you're eating healthy and you feel so much better. When you feel mentally sharper, you're going to have more confidence that your cold approach is going to actually go well and you'll actually be able to talk to her like a normal human being, compared to if you just ate a bunch of sugar and seed oils and fast food and you feel all groggy and bloated and sick and just like tired mentally. With that attitude, with that mentality, with that like physical state, you're not going to go up and talk to her, are you? And so these are just things to think about. And also, the more you eat healthy, this is something a lot of people don't realize, but the more you eat healthy and avoid eating any of the junk food, period, the more you actually end up enjoying the healthy food and you don't want to eat the junk food anymore. So literally just eat healthy more often and avoid eating any junk food, and you will literally actually enjoy the healthy food more and you won't even want to eat the bad stuff anymore. That's the case with any habit. If you stop fapping and you replace it with like a meaningful partner, a meaningful relationship with your partner, you're not going to want to fap anymore. It's just how it is. If you doom scroll all the time, if you replace the doom scrolling with meditation and prayer and like focused work and just being focused and present throughout the day and being more grateful and like aware of your surroundings, you're not going to want to doom scroll as much. You're actually not going to want to doom scroll. You're actually going to enjoy being present and being with yourself, which a lot of people can't say is true for them, but it can be true for you. The same goes for your diet. You can get addicted to eating the healthy food if you just trudge along and get through that first hard period. If you just move past the beginning period, there's hope for you and you can actually get over that junk food addiction and you will be healthy, happy, mentally sharper. You will feel just so much better. There's a spiritual component to this too, which I won't get too much into, but essentially there is a spiritual enemy that wants you to be fatter and more mentally unhealthy and physically unhealthy, both of those things. They want you more mentally unhealthy and more physically unhealthy because that's going to impact you spiritually as well. They all impact each other. So this spiritual enemy, which we call demons, which I know sounds crazy if you don't get into this stuff, but these are real things to talk about. They want you to suffer on this earth and in the afterlife. They want you to suffer and struggle and not be happy. Truly happy, the true happiness you could have for yourself. People think, oh, but I want to smoke weed, I want to eat junk food, I want to do all this, have sex, it makes me feel good. Does it really though? You don't know the alternative, you don't know the true, like, existential happiness you could be feeling instead of that. It all mirrors instant gratification versus delayed gratification. There's an instant gratification kind of happiness and there's a delayed gratification kind of happiness, which we all could achieve if we just put in the work and we just become aware of these things. But the spiritual enemy, they want us in instant gratification as much as possible so that we're mentally in bondage and that we're physically in bondage, spiritually in bondage, so that we never actually improve and feel actually like the presence of God every day in our life. They don't want us to achieve that spirituality. They don't want us to achieve that happiness, that joy, that purity, that innocence, the love, the true connections and relationships we could be experiencing. They don't want us to have that. And so we need to realize that there's an enemy that wants us to eat junk food, that wants us to feel good in the moment, but like literally making our soul worse, our mental health worse. So with that out of the way, I can get deeper into that another time, but if this video helps you, consider subscribing and joining along for the ride. This is a movement where we're trying to spread self-improvement and just spread the message of physical health, mental health, spiritual health, and just the fact that there's more for you out there and there's a better life for you out there that you could be living. Now you're probably thinking, okay, well, I understand these things, but I want to learn more and I want to be more part of this, and I want to make friends who are kind of like-minded in this, because I feel very alone in this journey and this knowledge that I'm getting. If that's true for you, consider joining the Discord link in the description below. You can make friends who are in a similar boat, who are also trying to improve their life and just be on this mental health recovery journey and just trying to improve physically, mentally, spiritually, trying to do better for themselves. If that's interesting to you, if you're interested in that, consider joining. With that being said, I love you all. I hope this video helps you, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.